Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new video, and this is a prep / gathering stuff video for my Vegas album. So I went to Vegas at the end of November and early December 2021, and man, did I take a lot of pictures. I was only there about 3.5 days, but kind of went nuts with photos. So it's going to have to be a 6x12 album, which is what you see here. And if you have been following me for a while, you know that I did my Wales album in a 6x12 as well. And this is a similar setup as that one, in that this is not a 6x12 album that is made for scrapbooking. It is just a standard album that I bought off of Amazon that came with inserts already in it, all for horizontal 4x6 photos, which obviously I'm not going to stick to that. So I'm just giving you a look at the inside. I have a couple of things dropped in here so far, things I know I want to use, or photos that I already had printed and where I think they're going to go. But for the vast majority of this, it's blank. Don't have a lot happening yet, as it should be at the start, and I'm okay with that. But I just want you to see what the inside looks like. So I have page protectors in here, different varieties already. For instance, I found this cool, kind of funky postcard here, and hopefully the camera will show it in all its glory. Look at that. It's even got gaudy, sparkly bits on it because it's Vegas. Why not? So I wanted to include that. So this will probably go somehow on my opening page. Don't know exactly how that'll be, but things like that are a good example of what I've dropped in already because I have them. I know I want to use them somewhere. This is blank. Then I had some photos here, and I have them kind of tucked in there where I think they might go. As you can see, it's in a state of flux. Who knows what will happen when I actually start. I have a couple of these type of inserts where it's vertical 4x6s that I really want to use in this album. And I had some photos printed already, so I dropped them in where I think they might go. A little bit of the hotel there. This is all inside the hotel. And then our first night having dinner. Here's another postcard that also has little sparkly things on it that I think I want to use there because it goes well with the photos I have. And then the start of some photos at the Bellagio, and then that's it. That's it, all that I have. I do have a couple of memorabilia things dropped in, like these postcards that I got. Might want to use that card. That's a postcard split in two. Some receipts. This is a photo from the Hunger Games exhibit that they take it of you and then you buy it. This was a photo taken of us at the Hollywood Cafe. It comes out in this tiny little keychain. So I pulled the photo and hopefully we'll use that. I've got a ticket in there. That is it. But you can see this is the general setup of this album. Now, at this time, I don't have any plans to use odd inserts that would not be centered like I did with Wales. Hopefully I'm able to do this where they all just are 6x12, 3x12, 4x12, whatever the configuration may be, but that they will work with the holes here. But I reserve the right to change my mind. If I decide that I want to do a 6x8 insert and that means it won't be perfectly centered, I'm okay with that. I just don't have it planned right now. So now you've seen kind of the basics of how the album will be set up. And I just want to say I chose this one because I loved this pattern. It made me think of Paris, and we stayed at the Paris for our hotel. And so I thought, okay, if I'm not going to go like a tropical theme or something, since it's Vegas, I wanted it to be something related to where we stayed. And so I thought this was a nice compromise. So the next thing I do when I'm preparing for an album is I grab my journal. This is the journal that I used. So you can kind of see I've got lots of journaling happening in there in different places. So that helps me recall all the things we did, in what order, my thoughts and feelings about them. So I keep that with all of my stuff so I can refer to it as I'm working on things. And then look at this pile of photos. I used MPix to order all of my photos for this album. And I know, because I just looked at the order, I ordered 186 4x6 prints. That's a lot. This is why it has to be 6x12. Now some of these will stay as 4x6. Some like this, you know, are 2 3x4s on there. That's pretty common for what I do. And I have a mix of matte finish, glossy finish, and metallic. Metallic finish I tend to only use for really important photos, things I want to highlight, but I do have some here. And I also have enlargements here. So I have some 5x7s, and then I have some 6x9s as well. I'm used to doing a 6x8 when I order from Nations Photo Lab, but MPix does a 6x9. And I'm okay with that because on a 6x12 page, that's going to take up more of the space anyway, so that's fine. And I could always cut them down. I could trim them if I felt like 6x9 was too big, but I at least want to start with that. And I may end up reordering some pictures, enlarging some that I didn't originally plan to. Again, I reserve the right to change my mind on any of this, but for the most part, this is what I'm starting with. And as you can see, that's a lot. These, you know, are big stacks of photos, so it's going to be a big album. All right, now that you've seen the journal, the album, the photos, now comes the really fun stuff. All the cards and embellishments and paper and all the decorating kind of stuff. I put it all into a bin here. So this is a 13x13 iris bin, and it fits everything perfectly because even though my album isn't 12x12, some of the papers are. I will need to cut those down. So everything fits in here, which is awesome. So I will open this up and show you the kinds of things that I have gathered to get ready for this album. All right, so I have a big mix of stuff in here. I have memorabilia type stuff that I picked up. Like these are buttons from the Hunger Games exhibit that we went to, and they are pin backs. But what I will do is I have a tool where I can remove those and make them flat, and I will adhere them with glue dots when I'm ready to use them. So they won't go in as they are. I have to alter them a little bit, but they will get used. I also picked up this embroidered patch from the Mob Museum. So that can pretty much go as is. I just have to put probably red line tape on the back of this if I want to use it to make sure it's really going to stick. And then I just have a bunch of receipts and then an extra little postcard that I picked up from where we stayed. Not quite sure if I'm going to be able to make that work in there somehow, but I like it. I love that it really shows the balloon in front of the Paris, that it's got sparkly bits again. So who knows? Maybe I'll end up fitting it in there somewhere. All right, then I have just a little clear bag here filled with different rub-ons and stickers. I even have some phrases in here. These are thicker types. They're from Citrus Twist. A little bit 3D action there. All these kinds of things. Here are some thickers. There we go. Kind of tropical themed. So I wanted to put those in there. Look at that flamingo. We went to the flamingo, so definitely want to have that. And then look at this set from Close to My Heart. How perfect is that for a tropical Christmas? When we were there, all of their Christmas decorations were already up because it was end of November, early December. So seeing Christmas exhibits was a lot of what we did because it was pretty much in every hotel that we went into. And ironically, I'm not a huge Christmas person. So I don't really celebrate it. I definitely would not go out of my way to see displays of stuff, but they were there. And my friend that I traveled with is a huge Christmas person, so we saw lots of that. And so I do intend to include some of that, as you will see. So speaking of that, this whole set of cards here, these are all holiday related. So I pulled those because I thought, well, if there's ever a time I'm going to use them, it would be now, because we did see so many displays, so I have those in there. These are cards. I have 2 sets, I believe, maybe 2 for sure, that are all Vegas themed, that I either had just sitting there knowing I was going to go back to Vegas at some time, or that I bought since I've been back. So I have those cut ready to go so I can use those. These are more holiday options that are all 4x6 or even slightly larger. So maybe I'll find something there. It's always a little harder for me to use the 4x6s, but maybe I'll be able to incorporate those. And then these are just some general 3x4 cards where I liked the color or the saying, or that were generic enough that I knew, hey, I could probably work those in somewhere. So I even have those as well. So is that enough? No, of course not. I also put this in there. This is a container of sequins that are all palm trees. So I found that little mix prior to going, and I thought, well, I know I'm going to see palm trees, so I know I have to have that. Those are in there. And then I have a couple actually of envelopes here. These are Citrus Twist envelopes. I love these. If you're looking to organize a little bit, these are awesome. This one is all die cut digital files that I bought, ephemera pieces, 3D pieces. Like, look at that fun palm tree from Doodlebug, have to use that. So I have all those in there ready to go. And notice the bright colors. I'm really trying to work with bright colors in this album. And then this one is filled with all kinds of wood veneer and chipboard stuff that I thought I might be able to use. Like this bus here would be perfect because we took the bus several times up and down the strip. So I can open this here for you and show you some of these. I also have this Eiffel Tower, given that we stayed at the Paris, and the Eiffel Tower was in our view pretty much the whole time. I have mountains because those were in the background. Different titles, like these are Christmas themed, some of these, but I'm hoping that I can use them because they match with some of the things that I saw. Actually, looking at this one now, this would go really well with the Palazzo, the display we saw there. So maybe that's where that'll get used. So I just have a bunch of these, and I'm really hoping to incorporate a lot of them because honestly, some of these I've had sitting around for a long time and I want to quit hoarding stuff. If I have it, I want to actually use it. So my goal is to make an effort to use a lot of this stuff. All right, getting to the bottom here, I have two stamp sets I've thrown in here as well. They are both Vegas themed. So I have this one, and this came out in 2020, it says, from Kelly Perky. And then this one is from Studio Calico. I don't remember if it has an exact name. It's just got a number up here, but if you like it, excuse me, you can see it here. You can go out and buy it from Studio Calico. All right, now we're down to kind of all the paper bits here. I put these in here. These are a bunch of little pennants, flags that I have that I thought those colors might work. There were several Christmas displays that used like a pink, turquoise, lime green color palette. Maybe you don't think of that for Christmas, but there were several that had it, so I pulled those. And then these papers to match with that. And we also went to the Flamingo Hotel, which has this color scheme, so I thought those would be fun to either make my own pocket cards or just use as backgrounds. And then it's Vegas. You gotta have the glitter, right? So I pulled this too. Maybe I'll die cut or just cut things out, not sure, but you gotta have the sparkle. And then these are just some ephemera pieces. Most of these are from Nellie and Clem from a travel release. And then these were digital files, just little candies to use at one of the hotels because I know they had a candy theme. And then the rest of these are just actual papers. This is a set from Close to My Heart. You can see it right here. It's called, I love it, Deck the Palms. So it is perfect for a tropical holiday set of stuff. So there's a couple papers in there, and I actually split this with my friend that I traveled with because there's no way I would use two of each of these. But some of these designs were just perfect for tropical holiday stuff. Like this, I know will match several hotels that we went into. There's the backs there. I don't really like that one, but I'll use the other side. This pink will work for several of the hotels. And look at the branding strip. Flamingos. I'm totally going to cut that off and use that somewhere. There's the back, which is just a nice stripe. And then I love this one. It's got palm trees with lights on, which we totally saw when we were there. This is the other side of that one. It's a much bolder pattern, I think. It's a little bit bigger in terms of what's on there. Either way, though, I think I can make use of all of these in some way. And then lastly, I have just some miscellaneous papers. Some of these are more Christmas themed that I have used on other things or that I've had sitting around for a long time and I just want to get rid of. So I put those in there. But then check this out. I have stuff like this. This vellum sheet is so awesome. It's very retro looking. This will be perfect for the Neon Museum. because a lot of the neon signs look like that. That's the era they're from, so it makes sense. So I have things like that. I have some holiday themed acetate and vellum here that I could make use of, hopefully. Again, gotta have the shiny and the sparkle. I got plenty of that happening. And then I have just some more tropical stuff too that I could mix in there. So I'm really excited to try to figure out how can I work this in. I really want to make it as bright as possible because that reflects what we saw when we were there. It was the desert, but all these bright, gorgeous colors in full sunshine because Vegas is warm in November and December. So I'm really looking forward to putting all this together and having fun with all the stuff. I hope you've had fun looking at everything I've gathered for this album and my process for kind of putting things together and thinking about what I want to use. And I hope it gets you excited to watch all the layouts that are to come for Vegas. Thanks for watching.